know you have all seen these cheap little uh, uh, quick forest, if you will. This is foam insulation. This is audio foam insulation. So you can get these in sheets, and they're usually taller than this, but we've cut them down and spray painted them a light green. Why did we do that? Because we wanted to make a really cheap, unbreakable forest representation. And so that's what we are looking at here. Some really easy to put down, easy to throw around. We don't care what happens to them, trees. And that is basically uh, what we're showing right here, right now. The other thing, so we wanted to say was all you have to do is when you get these things, they're usually in 12 by 12 sheets, square foot. So just cut them, spray paint it, and then cut them as you like, and then put them in a box and don't worry about them. Now, if you really want to have a nice looking game table because you want to impress a girl or something, a what? Oh yeah, impress a girl, then you kind of want to bring out the real trees. Uh, so that would be advisable to get some nice trees. Um, there is, however, one development in that tree uh, sector I'd like to illuminate as well. We have been fortunate enough to have discovered the tree tube from the safari company. You might find their toys in tubes, actually, they're square tubes, and in a craft store. And they happen to have a tree tube. So we've gone ahead and budgeted for hundreds, well, tens of those tree tubes. Why? Because they're unbreakable. They don't fall apart and they look pretty darn nice. And we'll show those at some later point, but not now. What I wanted to show now was the fact that we have a problem. Our clear bases were working out so wonderfully. In the last video, we discovered we have a problem. The last order that we placed for these clear bases was incorrect. And I don't know, you may have noticed it in the video. The darn bases are too big. They should not overhang the hex by that much. And those were 2.5 inch hexes. I'm sorry, bases. The intention was for the length to be 2.5, not the width. That is to say, the front facing was to be 2 inches and the length was to be 2.5. Why? Because we were planning on putting detailed information on the back of the hexagon, or on the back of the base. But we no longer need that much detailed information. Here's an example. This is how it comes from the laser cutting manufacturer, and it's beautiful and perfect. And that's how we were intending it to be used, that the figures would be placed here in 2 ranks, and the information that we wanted, we could put at the back. Well, it turns out that we don't really need that information anymore. Part of the reason is that we came up with this. This is kind of a roster thing, marker, that we are going to be putting on the back of the bases like that. Should you wish to do that? Again, should you wish to do it? You can use dry erase or wet erase on these printed pieces of plastic that we have. I should say, we printed the label. The label is a plastic label, so you can write on it with dry erase or wet erase, and you can use it as you see fit and record the actions to a unit. In this case, we are detailing the incremental hit, the red hit, and the number of routes that the unit suffers. Of course, any one of these things could be changed. If you have a labeler, you could make these anything you want, but we just chose this as demonstration. But anyway, back to the size of the base. So it was going to be that we would have this information, some more than just, well, let's put these side by side. You can see the difference in the length. So the figures would occupy 2 rows like this. And then this area down here would be used for, who knows, other labels directly applied to the base or these things put on there. But the fact of the matter is, they don't really need to be, let's get this right, they don't really need to be 2.5 inches long. They could just as well be as long as this guy, which is 2.25. So that's how long they are. Now the width is that width 2.25? Believe the width is 2.25. So, you know what? I just said that incorrectly, I think. I think these are 2 inches deep. Yes. Okay, so they're 2 inches deep, and they're 2.25 inches now because we cut them wide. And as you can see, the well, you could say it's a benefit. We don't really know if it's a benefit at this point. Um, it means that because the bases aren't going to be that wide, we can't accommodate that many figures based on the sculpt. We can only get 4 men in the front rank based on how they're sculpted. In this particular case, an example would be these were hat industry. These are Italian Romans. You can see, maybe I can bring them a little forward. You can see that the sculpt, the figure, does not exactly provide for 4 figures being in that front rank because they're throwing or stabbing or something with their pilum. And that means these guys, although beautiful, cannot be used with 4 men in the front rank, which means we have an extra figure or 2 from our original plan. So we have 4 figures in the back, which is fine, but we only have 3 in the front because of this way the sculpt is. What this figure is doing is inhibiting how many figures we can put in the front row. But it's okay because the intention was to make it look bulkier, but the figure's action doesn't interfere with the look of being bulky. It still maintains kind of a nice bulky look to the base, to the unit. So there we go. We have 2 of these Italian figures based up on the 2.25 wide by 2 inches deep bases. And this hat industry is a little different because the sculpts, again, are different. These sculpts are thinner, and you can see that there's a little more space between them. We could have put a 5th guy on there.